That one's a big one right now and very conversational. So
conversational.
Yeah.
What is that word?
That's a Kyle word.
I'm gonna call BS on that.
Controversial.
Controversial. I couldn't even figure that out.
I knew what it was. I knew what it was immediately. Jesus.
We need to talk about private investing in a non-clicky keyboard.
You guys got any shitty comments you want to talk about?
Shitty comments?
Yeah.
Like
where's the haters? Where's the haters at, guys? Let's go to a Welcome to Boosted, a North American Mobile Legends podcast. My name's Trex.
My name's Gida Kaya.
I'm Private Dancer.
What are you guys gonna be for Halloween?
I don't know.
Cucumber.
I'm gonna be a giant M4 logo at Las Vegas.
That's gross.
It's gross,
that's
but
cringe.
would be worthy. No, I'm joking.
Giant M4 logo. Hey guys, it's me.
I'm just walking down the strip.
I'm gonna be Elvis, I think. I'm gonna be Elvis.
Really?
Yeah. Not like cringe Elvis, not like Las Vegas Elvis, like got all crazy.
Need you to be a T-Rex.
A T-Rex. Oh, should I wear one of those T-Rex outfits?
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, the little ones with the blower inside?
Yeah.
So show up to the Las Vegas. You just like plow out of the stadium like from the top in a Rex costume.
Put a bow tie on it.
Yeah.
That sounds great. It's a great idea. My chair broke. I don't know how this just broke, but it just broke.
It's gonna be insane.
I got a message from Pika the other day, or today actually. Pika was asking me about it. He's like, do you know if anyone's going? He's like, because I'm really debating about going down there for it to watch it.
Dude, it's really weird.
Sure, I hope some people go.
I know people out in Las Vegas who are interested. They're like smaller content creators, but there's these two girls that are they're really pretty and like not like, but they're not big content creators. Well, my thing is because like they do cosplay and all this other stuff for different games as well.
You'll have to introduce us.
When I brought it up to Dave about it, and because I told him, I'm like, these people wouldn't need a star treatment or anything. They're just looking for an invite because I don't know how it works. Like, are we looking for?
There's no information.
I feel like I'm sure there will be some information on it, but I feel like like over an MPL, it's free to get in. Like you don't have to pay for tickets for a lot of the weekends and stuff. It's just like a first come first serve basis and things like that. I remember reading on things like that. I'm sure they do have some paid tickets, but also you can just like get in there for free. So like I think that's what they
we're talking about a place where this is not as popular. And
so that's what I'm saying. Just make it free to get in. If people get there, like if somebody gets there, they should be able to.
Well, here's the thing: you have to look at it at this way. If you're setting up a place like this, you don't like Wild Rift did it for their World Finals, is where they didn't set up any seats really for people to like cheer and stuff like that. Or no, they're or not Wild Rift. I'm thinking of League of Tom. League of Tom. Did you guys ever see the crowd in League of Tom?
They had seats. I'm pretty sure.
No, there was no crowd. There was nothing in there. It was just the studio.
Oh, I think what's the name?
And that's what you're supposed to do is there weren't. Because I was watching it because I wanted to see how they were going to deal with that, because that was one of the biggest things that I hated about Vainglory is they tried to build it up like there's this huge event and there was just this huge auditorium with nobody in there. And I'm like, this looks fucking shitty. Like you don't want to like pass off to the audience because there's like nothing but empty seats out there. So the way you combat that is you just don't have that. Like you don't have all this seating out there that will be empty. But I don't know if that's the case here, where we're not going to have seating, or where it's reserved seating, or these two people I know out there can feel free to invite whoever they want because we're just looking for bodies. You know what I mean? And like I can't get a straight answer, and I'm like, and it's I don't know, because like they live out there. I'm like, they're local. They can drive themselves. They literally live in Las Vegas.
I wouldn't see why they wouldn't just show up.
Yeah, well, I told him about that too, but I'm like, also like, I don't know what's going on over there. If it's going to be like the day before is going to be like a meet and greet for people that they could like squeeze into and just do some networking or whatever, like the Twitcher
Mobile Con, MLBB Con.
Mobile Con.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Ooh. No, I actually Wheezy hit me up and I'm pretty sure he's 100% going, even if he doesn't get invited. So I'm in the talks with him right now.
All these people talking about just busting in, bruh.
I'm going
to know the venting structure of that building. I'm telling you, we're in, bro.
I mean, Dave made it sound like they wanted some people to be there. So like, I feel like
when I told him like I have people that like they don't need any type of like special treatment or anything. They just need the nod that they can drive down there and like show their faces. He's like, oh, I've turned their names into Moontoon and we'll see. I'm like, okay. Like, I didn't.
They said the same thing to me. Like, so even when I reached out,
well, but yours would be comped. Yours would be we're gonna fly him out here and give him fucking sucky or whatever their star treatment is.
What
for you guys out there?
Oh, I gotta get in on this.
It's Las Vegas, bro.
Oh, Jesus. Yo. What was it? Were you just joking?
So NACT does start on the 17th is when qualifiers start, and then live stream starts on September 29th. September 29th, yeah, and then when it goes all the way through the month, and the grand finals is on the 30th. So
of October.
So whenever you guys first got the like whenever we first heard offline Vegas, first time ever North America getting a in-person event, whether there's going to be viewers, whether there's going to be whatever, even if it's just casters and the teams playing. The big question is like, I know, what was your guys' like immediate impression? Were you excited? Were you whatever? Because I've seen like a lot of different opinions on it. I've seen some people like kind of complaining about it. I've seen some people happy about it, et cetera, et cetera.
I was super happy, to be honest. And the way they picked to like place the LAN event made it even like almost a little bit better, just because like tickets to Vegas are like you could get one right now for like 5 days, and it's like $66.
It's like cheap, isn't it?
You're literally there and back, very cheap. It allows you to get there. That's the whole point of Vegas. They don't want you to
blow
stay
your
there.
savings and get
there. Yeah, they don't care. Like hotels are cheap, planes are cheap. They know you're gonna spend money on the casinos, right? So it's like this is true.
Free drinks in the casinos, you know. So to me sounds like a good time.
All right. Private, what were your opinions on it?
Well, you already know me. I as outgoing and happy as I can be, I am a pessimist for certain things, and I want this game to succeed. No. Save that for Chicken. Chicken is Did you see his reaction?
Yes,
he was upset.
Yeah. He was upset.
Old man Chicken.
He was upset about it. I think that's like regular, you know. It's like, I was a little put off. I was like, bro, like we finally have something big. Let's just be happy about it. Like,
I'm excited.
That's hype.
I know that a company like Moontoon is going to do it justice. I get worried. I get anxious. I want it to go right. I'm sitting here like studying teams in case I get the call and everything to go down there. Cause I want to start practicing more just because I want everything to go right, because I've seen what happens when people put all their eggs in a basket like this for live finals, and then live finals doesn't go well, and then it's just kind of a floundery that doesn't help. And I don't know, can we talk about other games on this podcast?
Talk about whatever you want. Okay.
Man. Vainglory put a ton of money into making it appear like this esports scene was flourishing. And they rented out someplace in Hollywood to do their live event. And like I was telling you guys earlier, nobody really was there. There was a few people there that showed up there just pouring money into this without actually recouping something. I don't think that's what's going on here, but I get worried because I don't know if you guys know, but Vainglory failed hard. And I don't want that to happen here, and I don't think it will, but that it puts it in me to like to want to do things to try to help out and make sure it doesn't, whether that's just like hyping it up, talking about or like creating other content for this to make sure that it doesn't. I've even, like I said before, I know people out in Las Vegas, content creators out there who would be interested in attending. I want this to go well. I'm really, and it's excitement coupled with that. So
I think as long as I think the fact that they're not trying to make it like a big venue where a bunch of people can come watch, like that right there. Like I think
like
they're
outside.
well, no, not even that, but it's not like an arena. It's nothing like, it doesn't sound like they really care if people come and watch or not. It's more of just, they want it to be in person. They want to have cameras live on the players. You know, they want to have it look a little bit more professional. So since it seems like they're only really like, that's what their budget is spent on, it makes me like, I don't think like the hopes are too high. I don't think it's like, all right, we need to make sure 100 plus people come here to watch this or else it's a flop. You know what I'm saying? I don't think those are like the projections on it. I think it's more of just like, we need a place to broadcast this. We want to be able to put together a really good broadcast for the live stream. We want to be able to have player cams in the corners, things like that, you know, all that good stuff. Be able to have 2 live casters at a desk, et cetera, et cetera. Have a media day, you know, be able to post videos before and all that stuff, make it look as professional as possible to build up the hype around it. So I think that, like, the fact that it seems like it's only revolved around that makes me have a lot of faith in it. And I already think that like I think view wise, last on ACT we peaked at like over 10,000 on a certain day. I don't remember which day it was. We peaked around 10K. I know some days. And then so I feel like with that, like for qualifiers, we should be hitting those types of numbers, which are good, right? Like that seems like good numbers, especially if we really pull the broadcast together and get a lot of hype around it. So I feel overall like I was happy. Like I think the moment I heard live, I was sitting in bed. I didn't plan on catching that whole Dave talk at all. Out of nowhere, they go on the thingy, the voice call thing, the tournament or the stage arena. And I see people in the chat typing like offline event, and I'm like, oh fuck. So I like put in my AirPods. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And like I'm like sitting in my bed quietly with my blanket up to me, like listening in on this, typing on Discord.
Like, baby.
And I was hyped. The moment I heard that, I was hype. I think it's awesome that we're finally doing something. I think it's a huge step in the right direction. I think the fact that like we're getting something like this just shows that Moonton is watching. I think a lot of people are upset because, you know, it's been a while. People wanted things like this much earlier, but I think like this is the year that they've been pushing, and these are the steps they're taking, right?
I think it's a good experiment, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even if it being like the first time that they're doing this, I feel like it's it's like the beginning of baby steps in the forming of a foundation, you know? So I feel like this is like, even like you were saying, even if this isn't like gonna blow expectations out of the water, at least we're actually doing something. Because I mean, you could look at like other places like like EU.
EU has nothing going on. Yeah,
they have nothing, you know. So just that we even have that little bit of a presence in NA I was ecstatic.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm, as much as I say I can be, I think that's kind of the no matter what comes, I always kind of look at where it can fail, just because I want to try to cover that up and make sure that doesn't happen. But like I don't want that that to be mistaken for I think this is going to fail, because I don't, and I have the utmost confidence because I think I talked with you guys a little bit when this first started. The actual person who owns E-Star Studios, which is who's going to be holding the venue where we're at, he actually has a lot of experience in the in mobile MOBAs in the first place. I believe it's David J. Lee is the owner of it, and he's also known as Closet Nerd. You can see him in the forums and stuff like that. He's like the person who owns this, former lawyer or something like that. But he used to be a team manager in Vainglory as well. So he knows how this stuff is supposed to work. He knows what people want to see when it comes to these esports types events and things like that, because he's been doing this since like 2016. So I mean, I have no doubt that the actual event is going to be great. For it, I'm just man. It's.
Hey,
I feel like this is as close as I'm going to get.
Hey,
yeah. Well, it's like
Private.
watching. It's like this is as close as I'm going to get to right now of like watching your kid go and take his driving test. You know.
You're like on the edge of the seat, you know, like, yeah, I did my best to get here. I prepared them for everything. And I like the attitude. I always like that attitude from you, Private, you know, like it differs, you know, it gives us a different perspective. And I feel like that's what makes you shine, you know?
That's a shiny potato.
This is going to be,
yeah.
I'm really excited because unlike, and you know what? Here's the thing too about when we were talking about EU. I think Agemic actually corrected me. He said that there are events out there happening in EU that it's just not getting as much notice or whatever. I don't know how true that is because I've asked, like, and I want to see events because I wouldn't mind seeing what happens in these other regions or whatever. All I remember was Navi was from what? Were they from?
They're from Russia.
Yeah, so I mean, for obvious reasons, that's not really going to be happening.
They're not coming. They're not coming this M4 or for M4. I'm pretty sure Russia's not competing. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. Now EU is getting some smaller events. I think EU right now is in like the stages of like where we kind of were maybe last year or like in the beginning of the year. But the thing is I feel like they've actually been in that stages. I don't know. You know, I think we've been kind of lucky this year, you know. BTK did win M3, and I think it did bring a bit of eyes. Not only that, so like it brought like Moonton wanting to bring events here, and that we already kind of had the stage set a little bit for that. Like we were already kind of prepared with the NASL. Some teams were prepared. We got a few casters. We have like a little bit of that foundation set a little bit. I've talked to Gemic about it a little bit. I don't know the exact words. We talked like about 3 weeks ago, and he was talking about some stuff, and I told him if they ever need a caster, reach out. And I know like I've had other EU people reach out to me like, hey, I want to start something. And they were like, oh, it seems like people already have stuff started. So I know there's like small tournaments, like NACT 2 years ago size tournaments, I want to say. The thing is they don't have any like big faces really over there. Like I feel like Gemic's the only big EU streamer I know, like the only like big content creator I know over there. So like unless he's getting behind it, like I just feel like it's going to be hard to get those views over there, you know?
Yeah, because like it's basically how it was here before BTK. Like there's just they don't really have the star power to carry it, and then you're going to suffer from what NA had before. That is a bunch of people that it's still happening now. They wanna be the stars, the ones that create their own tournament. So nobody wants to help out another tournament together. That's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, and that's what I think is kind of they're kind of missing over there, and I hope it. Well, I don't want to say missing because, like I said, I'm still kind of ignorant. I don't know what they have going out there, and you're right to me. It's just all I know is that Gemic says that there's a lot of them out there, and I just know that the distance. I mean, if we're talking about EU, we're talking about probably the size of the United States. But imagine each one of our states is of a different country that has to work like fucking swearing, that has to work like passports and like traveling to these different countries and stuff like that. Money, the what do you call it? The whatever their dollars and stuff are, and converting that stuff over. So there's so much more groundwork that needs to be done over there for even the simplest things, because they can't really just have a team like Italy team or something. Like,
there's so many separate countries, and it's just it's like, how do you even approach? Like, do you do a EU to M4, like kind of like how we have North America, which is doable because you have like just Canada and USA, right? But like, imagine trying to get like a player from England, a player from France, a player from Italy, a player from Greece, who happen to be on the same team and they can play together because their countries are literally like a fourth of the side of America. You know what I'm saying? They probably have better ping than our West Coast playing with East Coast. But it's just like, you have all the, like you said, so many obstacles to cover because so many borders, so many different countries of different players probably playing with each other. So I feel like their best bet would be like pick two countries really close together and try to build like a solid 16 teams from those two countries, maybe, or something. I don't know. That's I don't even know, man.
That's like a whole nother topic.
That's stress. That's stress.
But swinging back over to the qualifiers, man, like they already announced when the teams are, like, registration's open now. They announced that, and I think we discussed that a little. I thought it happened very fast, and I was kind of concerned just because I feel like how it happened is basically it was announced on I think we were in the middle of casting for the squad league, and then I'm getting like blown up in my Discord about hey man, they're talking about registrations open and blah blah this and that, and games start in a week. I'm like, what? Because for me personally, I don't know how it works for MPL and registration like that, but I kind of feel like NA, we don't have people with teams just sitting there waiting for a registration to open. Like, I feel like these guys got lives outside of the game that they have to organize to parents whose permission they need to ask, school and homework and stuff to get in line, and weekends to get free. And it's a lot. Especially what is that? It lasts about 2 months now. So.
Well, something crazy. I pulled up their actual the registration for the tournament, right? So currently there is only 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 teams that have completed registration, like completed. So there's
25 teams that are
25
like
total that are incomplete. So you got XVA that's completed, Squad Zero, Prescribed Army, Lethal Outlaws, Rebels in Paradise, Apex Predators.
Those are some cool names.
Ba, I don't know who that is. The Simpsons, Team Shy, Team C. I don't know. That's the
Team
Japanese.
She.
That's a good. I like that. And then you got the Hakai synergy.
Hockey synergy, bro. Come on.
Hakai? I would
hockey. It's hockey, like One Piece hockey.
Really?
Hockey, yeah. You wouldn't know anything about that.
I'm American. Okay. I say Hakai.
Oh God. Hakai.
Hakai.
Well, and that's another part of it, is that I feel like a new registration. Was this how they did it last year, Rex? Were you part of that? Do you know how the registration worked last year?
Nope. No, I don't know how the qualifiers registration worked, honestly. I'm guessing it was similar
to Google Docs.
I'm guessing it was through Google Docs, because that's how we did most registrations back then.
Yeah.
But well, this, because like it's a thing where it comes up to, for most of these teams, they can usually, they're so used to like leaving it on, like if we're a team, they just leave it on a Kai or Aiko, and then and whenever registration comes up, Aiko's like, all right, dude, I got it. I'm gonna fill in these names, boom. But all these dudes need to fill in their own registration. They need to get their own accounts on there.
Yep.
I feel like it's a lot of these little processes are kind of bogging it down. I'm not sure why the immediates came up for it. maybe something it has to line up, or it has to be so far before removed from M4 that it has to happen so that they can get everything organized. But it's there's a lot of things right now that are setting in a lot of teams, and I do not pity the mods of the NACT Discord right now for all the questions that are
shout out Sakira and Elira, man.
Right.
You know, one thing, so like, all right, so we do have to look at this. Like, everybody did know qualifiers was coming. We knew it was going to be in fall. That was announced at the beginning of the last NACT, essentially. We also knew there was going to be a qualifiers. Like, we went to M3 last year. Everybody was pretty comfortable that at least one team was going to M4. So there's like the slight defense against them. The only thing I would ask for more is like, they should have at least given a registration date like a month ahead. Like, we should have gotten like, listen, we don't have any details for it. Like, they didn't have to release any details at all, but just be like, at least let us know, like, registration is going to start at this day. Like, so make sure you guys are prepared. Like and then maybe release a few more rules, like maybe the base registration rules, like the whole 60% thing, like release all of that at least a month ahead. Like, you know, that they didn't have to, cause like so like, for example, the world championships, we didn't have dates for that until like 3 weeks ago, right? Which that's a pretty big gap. Like, what, we got 3 months. It starts in January, but still, it's world championships. You know, it's a really, really big deal. So I feel like for something like us, we're a little bit smaller. Like, give us I think an exact registration date, at least a month, with the registration rules. You didn't have to release any of the offline stuff. You could have really still kept all the hype of the event under wraps, but at least, like, I just think that they just need to solid down some dates. And like for next year, like, no, like there's going to be a tournament in spring, there's going to be a tournament in summer, there's going to be a tournament in fall, which is going to be qualifiers, and give us like the months that those are going to happen. Be like, this one's going to happen in August, this one's going to happen in October. And that way we know, okay, so registration is going to probably start in the middle of September. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they just put out some solid dates, I think that would help with a lot of it. But the reality is, even if they gave us a month, like, you still know these teams, like, come on, come on. They're gonna complain, and they're not gonna have it together, and they're gonna be getting rosters together in the last moment. And until, you know,
well, that's what I'm a little worried about, is because I know that a lot of these teams like to do this stuff at the last minute, and this is not a time to be doing that. There's a lot of rules, there's a lot of things that have to be done. Just like there's gonna be a lot of teams that find out the last day all your teammates need to be registered with this thing and have their account in there, or you're not going to be able to register properly, and they're not going to be able to do it. And I kind of fret for some of those teams right now. But yeah,
I was actually going to talk about that too. I've actually seen teams actually reached out to me asking me like, yo, dude, I'm confused.
How do I do this?
Yeah, like, what's going on? Like, what goes here? You know, I'm like, I
actually registered for.
I always tell them to talk to Sakira or Elira. I'm such a jerk. I'm like, well,
I wanted to. Well, this some of them are people who frequent some of my streams and stuff like that, so I try to help them out. And I think that's the I work in like troubleshooting, so when somebody comes to me with something, I'm just like, I kind of want to help.
he's the guy who wants to help. Like, he brings them. Yeah, but
the thing is like I've even like registered for an account to try to so that I don't. So I wasn't blowing up the NACT with like questions. So I'd try to like go in there and be like, bro, nah, you're doing it wrong. Like, I can do it just fine, and I have no problems. So he's like, oh, well, this person and this person can. I'm like, bro, there's something wrong with your computer or like your account. But I mean, yeah, it's an experience right now. It's a process. A lot of these teams are they're going through it right now to try to register. I mean, I understand it could probably be pretty frustrating. It's really easy for us to kind of sit out here and be like, whoo, that looks like it sucks, because we don't really sitting here on the outside, don't really have the team in there.
Yes. The plight of the caster.
Yeah. Oh man.
Another thing though that I'm seeing as well, you know, like, and I was like, you know, do I really want to point this out? In the roster status, the teams that's completed is the Simpsons.
Hell yeah. Go Simpsons. Go Simpsons. Go Simpsons. I don't know. I know that I can say this. I know that The Simpsons put together a apology letter. They want to try to, they're trying to get back in. I think a permanent ban is a little harsh, if you want my personal opinion.
I feel that same way.
I know plenty of there's teams that have gotten in trouble over MPL. I forget what the name of the team was, but they weren't allowed to enter MDL or something like that because one of their players is trash talking in game. So yeah, I think a suspension, something, permanent ban's a little crazy.
I mean, you're talking about what they did over in MPL. I know what you're talking about. I forgot what it was. Something Geniuses.
Yeah.
It was a squad of people that were
they got in trouble for
and
bad stuff. They were saying
yeah. So I doubt
the team itself got suspended and weren't allowed to join this MPL. In the future, the team itself will be allowed to
that's
join.
What I said. That's in that action forced the other action of those members being fired from their team, from that team. So and you have to see here, what action can we take against 5 players that don't have
you ban them from the tournament
over them?
Yeah, you take them out of tournaments. I feel like a permanent ban. You can never play in a Mobile Legends tournament again in North America.
I'm not for a permanent ban. Maybe not. But I mean, I'm personally, I kind of feel like they won't feel it until this season. Personally, missing out on this season, I can assure you they'll feel it. And then maybe open it up next season for them. That's my personal opinion. Moontoon doesn't have to do that. They're looking for teams and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure that they are sorry about it. But it comes down to, I mean,
you got to pay the consequences for your mistakes.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's growing up, man. That's there's consequences for things like this.
It is true. It is true, and I think all right, let's say Moontoon was all right, we're not going to let you play in the qualifiers. I think, yes, that would suck, but like you said, it would be consequence. I think that would be the extent of what I would feel is fairness. After that, if you were and this, it's okay, put them on a probationary period, whatever. But I think next year, by then, Simpsons should be allowed to play again. I think they should always keep an eye on them. I think they should have to make a public apology, etc., etc. If they need to drop a player or something, if there needs to be a certain player, whatever needs to be done. But I think the team itself should be allowed to play again at some point. That's just and you're right, you can't do anything because we don't have orgs and all that stuff. But to what, that's I don't know. I just think it never got line. Yeah. I think it never got talked about between a circle of people, because we have unprofessional teams, we also don't have it's not MPL. You don't have a desk of 10 people being what are we going to do about this team? Let's vote on this. You don't have that as well. So I think we just have to be careful about how we're handing out
coach.
Things like that. I don't know.
Yeah, if they do come back, I do agree. There should be a type of what's it called? What do you call it when you get out of jail?
Probationary.
Probation. Yeah. There should be some type of probation to the point that if these dudes so much as eat with their elbows on the table,
they breathe the wrong way.
And that's when you would bring in the perma ban. Listen, we'll put you on a probationary period for the next 3 tournaments, and if you, so much as say one bad thing, do whatever, you break a rule in game and you talk in the all chat, you're gone,
That to me is so interesting in and of itself that because if that happened to me when I was younger, I'd be all right, guys, so we're gonna get new accounts, create a new team, and we're gonna shape up and come back. That. But the how they hold the esteem that they hold the Simpsons name because they've been competing. I don't know how you say it. I like that. Just because they hold it so important that was never even an option to them to let's just create new names and a new team.
No, their whole registration is Blazer, Promise, Damien. That's why I like the Simpsons though. It's honestly, they're probably one of the few teams that still have most of the same players. Like they're probably one of the only teams that still have some of the same players.
Honestly,
I just have a soft spot for him, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you do. I'm a hard ass for stuff like that, especially when it comes to like disrespect for something that I want to get more professional. Like I want the scene to grow, and it can't really grow if we allow stuff like that. There has to be consequences, and unfortunately, I mean, last season they had it. I don't know. Maybe the apology will work, but I'm going to tell you right now, they need to respect whatever decision comes out of this.
Yeah,
or because it's not going to help. Because I have like just a little inkling for them because I see how hard they work in the squad league. So I have the littlest bit of respect still left in there for them when it comes to like as far as like the things that were said in the heat of the moment and stuff like that. But man, if it lights another fire because they don't hear the answer that they like, I mean,
they're done for. They're done for.
Yeah, I mean, you need to. That's when things like this get tested. Your maturity and stuff like that is when
you get told
things
no.
are not going your way. Yeah. So
I've been there. I remember being 16.
Dude, I was in the military for my teens, so like I think that's probably why I'm so hard on what I'm such a hard butt for some of these things too, because that stuff got beat out of me like bad, like these little pieces of attitude, like they didn't take that. Nah, there's no way to talk your way out of it. Rolling your eyes, huff of the breath, bro. I was like so many push-ups.
So many push-ups.
So many push-ups. What else?
Who else? Any other big teams?
That's right all now, I really seen.
Did we already talk about Team First Blood?
Did
we talk about Team First Blood?
We did. No.
Well, they posted. We can talk about the official. What is released is that they are. They are not going to be part of. They're dropping from the qualifiers. So unfortunately,
they posted on their Instagram. Where's the exact words? Let's look it up. Hold on a second. Exact words. Team First Blood won't be joining the M4 qualifiers next week. Thank you so much for the support. The only thing that like gets me with that is the lack of information. And I get it, like they're probably upset and stuff, but it's like, what? Like, and I heard it secondhand. It was a story. It's not even an official post. Like, so I didn't even know about this. G told me about this, and someone else. I told someone else to go scrim Team First Blood, and they were like, they just announced that they're not competing in M4. So I'm like, wait, what? I don't know. That's sad. That's really sad if they actually don't get it together before then.
If what I hear is going on with them is true, I respect the decision 110%. I
feel like there's always next year. You know?
Yeah, there is.
Hopefully.
And honestly, for a team, one of the things that has been really great about First Blood is no matter how it adjusts, they always come back with something very solid. It's whenever like as a team, their performance and events is just it's.
Well, they were the new blood.
I honestly, well, that's not. You can't even call. I don't even like calling them that anymore because they, to me, are like a standard. Yeah. Maybe not with how much they have to juggle their roster sometimes, but they have how they act, how they hold themselves, when they, how much they are in the scene, whether it comes to scrims and practicing and stuff like that. They are the standard of what I think a team should be in NA, and it showed where that they showed how that hard work pays off by making it to grand finals last season of the NACT. It's like, it's sad.
It just shows their passion, It, like you were saying, it just shows like their dedication. I felt like every time, like you were saying, they would go out into the community. A lot of them would be there, they'd be interacting, they'd be joking around, they kind of, you could see that they loved what they were doing.
Yeah, I think no matter what, they they pull it together. They have some solid heads behind them with Prophecy and Afnan that have been managing them for a while. So, like, I think the key word here is like what G said, like next year, right? And I think for most teams right now, like almost all the teams that really want to take this serious, and you could see like in the past like 2 months since last NACT, so many teams have been like springing up, and so many people have been springing up, looking for scrims, recruiting players, things like this. You have all these like, I don't want to say the word lower tier, but like newer teams springing up, right? So I think like right now, everyone that needs to be the goal. Like next year is because only one team's going to M4. We're this close. We're at a point where only one team's going. That's that. But we know there's a lot more coming next year. So like all Team First Blood has to do, even if they don't compete in this, get a nice roster, practice for the next 2 months, and then start setting up for the tournaments to come. And I think like
watch the other teams
next year, like whether they compete in this or not, you got to keep your eyes out for First Blood. Like you got to keep your eyes out for Team First Blood, because if they come in next year, if they don't completely disband and they like come in next year, I think they're going to be a great team.
Well, yeah, especially if you see them, this taking a break from the qualifiers shows already they're not willing to put out a substandard product or something with their name on there. If they can't get it together, they're like, nah, then we're just not going to participate in qualifiers. So if you see their name, be afraid, because they're going to be afraid like full force.
Afraid.
I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
I will say, so I'm getting a jersey from Team First Blood. I'm getting a Prophecy sending me a jersey. They got jerseys that was helping them like figure out how to get them. And now that I'm hearing this, I'm very upset, because I'm like, now my jersey's kind of pointless. And I was like, so I really hope that they stay together just for that. I want to start getting a few teams jerseys whenever I get all set up.
I'm actually getting one as well.
From Team First Blood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They sent me the live video of
if you weren't shaped like a potato, you might have got one too, Private. What size jersey does a First Blood sock? Bro, a sock. That's so great.
Yo, we gotta see the costume.
That is so great.
Put it on.
Oh my god, a sock. I will never forget that right there. That is so great.
What else?
So guys,
do we want to talk about
the emblems? The emblems?
Yes.
The emblems. Yes. Who wants to take? I mean,
so much emotion sparked from the community so far.
A lot.
Yeah, dude. People are like, okay. People are angry. Like, like, I don't know if a lot of people realize how much. Here's the thing. How much do we complain to Moontoon about broken heroes? Valentina, Beatrix, freaking like heroes that we think are just so powerful, and throughout the history of heroes that we're like, bro, they obviously don't understand. And now Moontoon is telling us that an emblem system is broken. So that tells me that stuff's really broken. Like,
I don't know, man.
I'm thinking the same thing as Rex, but I'm also thinking the same thing with Private. Is they kind of don't want another blacklist problem. Like, they don't want the whole community to turn on them and start downvoting and turning their game into a 1-star on applications just because of what they were thinking, you know?
All right. My opinion with I think that they could have either gone very well. I think no matter what, in the long run, they would have gone well. I think that you only tested them in the advanced server. I think they were also more towards competitive. I think they would have done very well in the competitive scene, because I think there would have been tons of variations, but because of so many variations and flexibility, there's no real way to figure out what's going to be broken in the competitive scene. Like, until you put it in the hands of pros and pro analysis and people who are going to do stuff. Same reason why sometimes heroes, like, people are like, oh, that's not really good. And then some team pulls out, some crazy strategy or something like that. And out of nowhere, it's like, oh, this is broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to fix this drastically. This hero is completely shattered. So I think that the emblems would have been great in a competitive sense. I think it would have added a whole new layer to the way. It's just so much variety. When I was looking over it all, I just felt like it was going to be super cool, amazing. I think to the casual player, it was a little too complicated. I think that the casual person, and you're going to have, of course, you have a bunch of people in advanced server who most of them just make content or whatever. Like, I don't know. I think it was just like that was the only thing. I wish they would have like just dropped them and then took them back. Like let the people play with them, or test them out in, I don't know. I just wish
my defense,
like in MPL though, or like in some sort of professional sense. Like I just feel like you dropped it in the advanced server and now you're pulling it back because who complained? Because a bunch of advanced server players complained. Like I
don't know their ultimate decision behind like getting rid of it, or deciding on what they were doing with it. But I know it was in the advanced server for like a day, maybe a day and a half, and then it got cut.
No, I think it was in the advanced server way longer than that.
I thought it was longer.
Yeah, it was in there for a while. It was in there for a while.
I'm not sure how they do the testing over there. I know when I was in the advanced server for other games, like there's actually like there's not always just average people in there. There's some really technical dudes in there that are like really keen on like trying to break things and make sure that everything's working correctly. So I don't think I don't think this decision was made lightly. And I think another thing to kind of throw into the mix here of why if it's not polished, and the reason why they're not throwing it on there is because of how close we are to qualifiers and
Worlds.
If it's something that is potentially broken, that's potentially bad, that is not spruced in the way you want it, why would you throw that in the middle of professional play?
Yeah.
And I think honestly, I don't know if this is the end of the emblem system, because that's what I assume. Maybe they just misspoke on how they're going to do it. Maybe they're just going to hold it and it's on the back burner until M4 and all that stuff is dealt with. Because I don't know why you would completely dump an entire emblem system. Like,
right.
I mean,
a month or two before M4. Yeah.
It's like deleting a character because you just don't know what to do to fix it. Like this is just OP. Boom. Let's get rid of Beatrix. I wouldn't mind that, by the way.
Shots fired.
I just think the idea. I just felt like it was gonna open up so many possibilities, and like the possibilities of like seeing new heroes in the jungle, different heroes in different lanes, because they could like pick up essentially, they could mix and match different sets and stuff like that. So like the idea of it, I think was really cool. And I think especially when you look, like I said, especially when you look at it at a competitive sense and you have like some great players behind it and some great minds behind it. Like we already see crazy stuff happen, like in different emblems become popular, jungle emblems, things like that. Like emblems that everyone thought were bad a year ago are now dominating. So I just felt like it was going to open the door for what a lot of people want, a lot more variety in the picks and bans of what we see in competitive play, right? Like it was going to open up the door to bring in new heroes into different roles and things like that. And now we're not going to see that. We're going to see the same thing for another World Championships, which I'm cool with because you're right. Like that's a really big update 2 months before Worlds. Hopefully they look back into it in the beginning of next year and maybe do another test or something. Because I do think like having opening things up. I think like I just enjoy seeing more variety and more possibilities. So I don't know. We'll see.
I like, I'm in the same boat. I kind of like getting my socks knocked off, if you want to say,
Okay.
I like.
Well, that's what keeps games fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I want these people to come in, and by people I mean like pro players and anybody even in ranked. I want to see them come in with something that is just off the wall, and then it just be good, and it just blows your socks off. You like I've seen an MPL someone played Hellkurt mid. I was like,
blows your potato sock off you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is we don't need potato socks. We need it blown off.
I think that's one of the things I liked about Mobile Legends always is like the constant patches. I'm not as crazy about the constant amount of heroes because eventually we're gonna hit a wall, but I do like I feel like the meta changes pretty regularly. So like I know a lot of people are against that. Like people don't like change, right? Nobody likes change in the world, but I think it's what makes the game, like you said, Private, fresh.
Mm. Well, and that's the whole entire reason of all MOBAs do this, is where they want to change up the meta and how it works, because first of all, it keeps it fresh. It gives content creators something to do, new tutorial videos, new talking about different metas and stuff like that, different tier lists. You can't keep the same tier forever. It's going to get stale, and people are going to learn how to game it, and then people aren't going to want to watch it anymore. Like it's unfortunate. I do think that it isn't going to be too rough of a job to maybe kind of spruce it up a bit before Worlds, to just do some changes instead of if you're not working on the emblem system anymore, make some character changes, maybe an item here, maybe the emblems that we already have, change something in there to kind of spruce it up. So I mean, they've been doing it for years, so I don't think it's gonna. I highly doubt the same gameplay, the tanky meta is going to be the exact same meta that's going to be making it to M4. I think there's going to be different changes there to kind of compensate for the emblem system. But I mean, we'll see how it goes. I just know, like I said, in my mind, with how much I see of some of these heroes that are just way too good, for Moontoon to stand out and say like, yeah, this is broken, guys. We're going to have to we're going to nix this right now. I feel like there's a definite problem. I don't think that was made that decision was made very lightly for him.
Yeah, I think that's probably what would have definitely happened, is like they would have dropped it, and in like a month there would have been some combination of something that was just like super broken. Like somebody's gonna find something and be like, oh, this is it, and then it's gonna like come down to like one hero with this certain combination of emblems is just off the charts, and you, no matter if you, I just feel like you'll never figure that out until it's really put to the test, and that's the dangers of having something with that much variety, right? Like there's just no way to really weed out everything. And because we're so close to such a big event coming, it's like, do we want to drop this now? Like, do we want to risk this right now and possibly like mess up everything? Like all marksman meta, or like some insanity happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that would happen, but I'm just saying
That'd be
some insanity like comes in and like completely just like breaks the game and makes all of M4 like either super boring to watch or something like that. Like it happened with what was the MOBA that was a third person shooter?
Paragon?
No, it was for like Xbox and stuff like that. PC. Overwatch. They like one of the things, they like made a tank meta actually, but it was to the point where like literally everyone on the team was playing tanks, and it made all of their competitive scenes like super slow, super boring to watch, and there was no one would ever use any attack characters or anything. So like things like that, I guess you do have to be careful for, right? Like you want to change up your meta but not make it unentertaining.
Yeah, I felt that, and that was kind of where I was going at too. You know, at one point when I first looked at it, and I was looking at the Twitter post of how the developers wrote out this long paragraph of their decision behind it.
Read the whole thing.
Yeah, I was like, I just scanned down to the bottom. It said cancel, and I was like, all right. You know, and I wanted that variety. I liked where it was going, but I also do like the patience, you know. I feel like patience is always key. And maybe again, I think we are going to see it in the future, because I feel like that's a good step. I've heard that the emblems have been the same since the start of the game, since Mobile Legends started.
I don't even think they had emblems when Mobile Legends first came out. It was like
it's been a long time.
The emblems have been around for a long time. And I don't think they've made that much of changes to them. Maybe like some slight patch notes, you know, like we're adding another 2% to the attack on this, or we're adding this or that, but like nothing huge or major has changed them at all.
And I felt like it would definitely it would introduce almost a whole new game, which is why I think they're taking small steps. You know, they're wanting to do a little bit more research and development, and the ideal get, you know, hire testers or something like that, like you were saying, just to fine tooth it, you know, that way nothing happens that a whole meta stirs up like that and it ruins the whole game, because it is changing the whole fundamental.
Yeah,
at least that's my take on it.
I agree. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. Now, let's talk about some stuff we know. I think we all know well. NASL, North American Squad League. For those that don't know, this is an NASL podcast. So last week we had, so I know and me in private saw some comments, people wanting us to talk about games, things like that. One thing I can say is my predictions are beating private and G right now. Now this Friday, tomorrow we're recording this on Thursday. So tomorrow we have Ackerman versus Team First Blood, the Valley versus Vec Fantasy, and the Simpsons going up against the losers of Ackerman or Team First Blood, right? So, who'd you guys put for Ackerman Team First Blood?
Let me pull it up. So
right now, I'm gonna have to go with Ackerman, just because I'm a diehard Team First Blood fan. But they are going, I mean, with them dropping out of the quals, with the constant roster changes, I just feel like Ackerman, but I don't really know Ackerman that personally as far as what's going on in the background with them, but I haven't heard anything that would make me think that they are on shaky ground or anything. And they have been playing some very solid matches. They did take a loss to Deuce Knights last weekend, but I mean, Deuce Knights, which we'll probably get into here a little later, they've been impressing. And it's part of those, it's one of those teams that I've said before that when it comes to playoffs, when it comes to an event, they bring their A game. But I'm definitely have to just give this over to Ackerman. But I would love to see Team First Blood win. I just don't know if that's going to be possible with the latest announcement and with how things are going as far as shaking up the roster.
I just went all diehard, Team First Blood. He led with his heart.
He led with his heart.
I'm not gonna lie. Ackerman looks really good, and and again, it is Team First Blood, but again, like you were saying, private, I do feel like there's a little bit of a teetering of the scale happening, but I'm still gonna go with what I would want to win, and I'd like Team First Blood to win. I'd like to see them continue to play in the playoffs here, and even though they're going to go down to the losers bracket if they do lose, but I'd like to see them win. That's for sure.
So I'm gonna speak from my caster heart, and I don't think a team has ever really gotten mad at me about like just saying that I don't think they're gonna win or this or that, because it's unbiased. I try to be unbiased about these things. I do show, like, when we talk in the background about random stuff, like Simpsons, for example, I like them. But when it comes to like what team, I think Ackerman 2-0's Team First Blood. Easy, short and simple. I think Team First Blood's getting
easy?
I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think Ackerman 2-0's Team First Blood. They made them look bad in the season. Like, they made Team First Blood look like a rookie team. Ackerman dominated
their inaugural match.
Yeah, it looked like they it was a sweep. It wasn't just a 2-0. It was a 2-0 easy GGs. It was rough. Now, I'm not putting, I've talked about Team First Blood like this. I think some teams are just their kryptonite, and I think Ackerman is one of those teams. I think Team First Blood can knock the brakes off a lot of teams. When it comes to a team like Ackerman, I just don't think they can beat it. But just like Ackerman, I think old Area 77, they got beat by New Wave. They were consistently losing to New Wave, but I think areas like Prime Area 77 could beat Team First Blood, and I think it just shows like some teams just have trouble with other teams. Like, I think Team First Blood beats New Wave. I think New Wave beats Ackerman possibly, but I think Ackerman beats Team First Blood. It's like the rock, paper, scissors, But yeah. And that's just, some teams just don't play well against others. The play style, the rotations, whatever it is. I can't dissect it here on the stream, but I think Ackerman sweeps Team First Blood. That's just my quick tidbit.
Well, next up, we have the Valley taking on Vec Fantasy Main.
Does this need to be talked about? All right. I'm just kidding.
That boy took his caster hat off.
I think the Valley wins that one. I think the Valley wins that. I think it could be a 2-1. I think it could be a 2-1.
To me, it depends on. I don't know how serious. I would love because they have included. Was Nicolette was on there? Best player wasn't, or was he?
Best player was on there.
They were. So, and as we do know, they are a former. Well, I guess Team Sexy is taking a break, or are they done?
I don't know.
I don't know what the news is.
I'm pretty sure. Like my last message from Best Player was, "We're done. Like we were just gonna play on Vec Fantasy for the playoffs, just for kind of fun, essentially." I don't know. I think and it's sad. I really hope Nicolette at least gets recruited by somebody and plays, because I know she wants to play Mobile Legends. But yeah, let's not get into. I don't want to get too deep into a side topic with that. But yeah, Team Sexy's I think is done.
I feel like Vec Fantasy. If we're talking about Nicolette and Best Player at their last season NACT level with Vec Fantasy, could potentially make could have potentially made waves and possibly surprised the Valley.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it goes. I would love to see the Valley. I keep saying I want to see the Valley challenged. We saw Vec Fantasy do very well against the Simpsons with the inclusion of Best Player. We're talking about a team who was bordering at the bottom of the league win-loss, and coming from there to beat a team like the Simpsons, it's going to be really interesting. My brain says the Valley. My heart wants Vec Fantasy and Nicolette and Best Player and them to fucking go on, but I have to give the win to the Valley. Let's go with 2-1 series though.
2-1.
I definitely had the Valley as well, but now with the little bit of a change with Vec Fantasy, I'm kind of on the sidelines, because you got to think about it. I mean, from my standpoint, I got a little bit more knowledge because I've seen the Valley scrimming, right? And I can tell you that they're not scrimming with the same people that are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they could be a little rusty with some of the other teammates that are on their team in the playoffs. And I mean, Vec Fantasy might be able to pull the hood over them, and give a little bit of an upset. Them beating the Simpsons lineup's the full lineup. And that is impressive.
Yeah.
So I picked the Valley, but I'm kind of on the fritz. I think it might. I picked the Valley, so that is what it is.
So I think the Valley, I think Vec Fantasy definitely has the possibility for an upset if they can catch a game where they just hit that great early game, Best Player and Nicola like to do. They can definitely steamroll over and catch a win. All they have to do is do that twice, or make one game really strain out or something. And but really, they just need to do that once, win a game regularly and then just catch them on game 2 or game 1 or something. If they can catch them, maybe even game 1 and then just roll with that momentum, they have a good chance. I think if they can win game 1, there's a high chance that they win the series. That's what I would say. If they can take game 1, I think they can win the series.
Let me just say, though, I was very happy to see the Valley came in last weekend with no funny business against Ethereal, against a team that they already know was probably at the bottom of the league, and they came in ready to do business. No joking around, no silly picks. And I know that might not be as entertaining, but I like to see that, because I like to see it going forward, because we know what the roster changes are going to be when it comes to the qualifiers. And I want to see a team. I want to see a scary team, not a funny team, as we're going into the qualifiers. That's the little NA in me of what I want to see go to M4. The potential that we have there. So I was really impressed that they I don't know if they had a shock collar on Shark or something, but they played a very serious, no bullshit. They came in,
no Johnson, no Fanny.
They came in, boom, got pushed into the towers, boom, wrapped it up, and they were all.
I know when Hoon locked in the Yeve, Hoon locked in Yeve in like game 1, and I was like, oh, they're taking this seriously. I was like, no Gushin, no silly pick from Hoon. I was like, okay, all right, Hoon Yeve. This is my first time seeing it. All right,
so that's gonna be pretty interesting.
So last game of the night tomorrow will be the Simpsons going up against either Ackerman or Team First Blood.
That's going to be interesting.
They get taken out.
You think they get taken out either way?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
honestly.
Yeah.
The Simpsons. I know you're a big fan. This probably hurts you, but dude, Ackerman, there's no way. If it's Team First Blood, I feel like it might be close matches, but even I feel like Team First Blood is just a powerhouse. Even when they are down and out, having roster changes, they're just so good. It's kind of. To me, it's I'm so sad, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm dealing with a little bit of depression. I didn't with Aiko spilling this news on me that Team First Blood is coming.
Right in the beginning of the podcast.
Like, just set my tone because like I feel like they have constantly been battling uphill, whether it's roster changes, somebody's going to the Philippines, Prophecy has to learn mage when he's a marksman main, and they still go to the grand finals. Like I feel like all these guys need is just like a 6-month span of just
grind.
Just structure and grind. They would be the best team in the world. I feel like that's the sad thing, and to see like how I feel like even on their worst. Oh, that sounds so bad. I was gonna say even on their worst day, they're gonna be better than the Simpsons, but that's not a shot at the Simpsons. That's just how strong.
Oh, that's a shot. That's a shot.
No, it's not. I think Team First Blood is really good. They're a great team.
They are. They are a great team. I think whoever drops down, I think I'm going to give it like this. I think that like I put that if Team First Blood drops down here, I put Team First Blood loses here and they win this one. So I did put that. I put the Team First Blood loses to Ackerman and they beat. I didn't expect the Simpsons to be down here. I expected Vec Fantasy to be where the Simpsons are. But either way, I would put Team First Blood as the winner. But I will say this: I'm going to give it kind of the same treatment as the Vec Fantasy versus the Valley. I think if the Simpsons catch them like really hard in game 1, I think the percentage of the Simpsons, like the odds of the Simpsons winning, go up to like 75%. Like there's a big chance. Like I don't know if Team First Blood beats them like 2 hard games in a row. I think that I think if you took like several best of 3s, Team First Blood would win more of them, but the Simpsons can win a best of 3 here and there. So they just need to, if they want to win, they just need to make it this best of 3. You know,
they got to be hungry for it. They got to, even including with that we were talking about before about them possibly, maybe, hopefully, being able to come back for the qualifiers. This is part of it too, is kind of you're going to have to show that you belong there. And this is going to be that test of your mettle. And whoever comes down to the losers bracket to face the Simpsons, it's going to be a test of your mettle there to see what you have against these guys.
Most definitely. All right. Quick question, I guess. Who'd you guys put as the final winners? Who'd you guys put as the winners? Winners of the whole thing. I didn't read your guys' winners. You put Team First Blood. You put Team First Blood. I know that. Private? Who'd you put?
I don't even remember who I put.
Let me check your prediction.
I went with what I want.
What you want?
Yes.
You put Ackerman. Ackerman? Oh, so we all have different winners. I put the Valley. Huh. I actually made mine really spicy. I made mine spicy. I put the Ackerman beats the Valley, and then the Valley comes back and beats them in the finals.
Oh, geez.
I made mine spicy.
I know that they're practicing, but the reason I picked Ackerman is because I know that they're trying to add different people to their roster. And I feel like the Valley in that messed up jumble there might not have the greatest synergy with their 5 that are here in the squad league.
Yeah.
And Ackerman, I don't think that they're really switching around rosters. I think they're going to have that same solid 5, and they might be able to eke out a win against the Valley for the finals.
That's a great point that I didn't think about before I made my prediction is what G said. Like, all they're practicing with right now is the Chicken, Zane, Hoon, Basic, and Shark squad, and the team that's on here. You have Guapo and I forget who the EXP laner is, but you have Guapo. Why am I having a mind blank right now?
Merciless?
No, it's not Merciless. Guapo and I forget, but you have 2 off players who are probably not practicing with them at all. Like from here until. Because you already know that, like, right now, their goal, they don't even care about playoffs. Right? Like, they do, but it's more like M4. So, like, they're all they're practicing with is Zane and Shark right now, which definitely is going to give Ackerman an advantage if they meet in the finals, for sure.
Yep.
Right. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it.
I'm sweating right now. Because
if this is going to come out on Friday,
I might try to edit it now, and drop it tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I mean, just let them know it's freaking the Challenger tournament signups are right now. If you are part of NA, if you are part of a team, I do even believe that they have solo signups open now as well. They do. Yep. So, I mean, there is no reason if you have aspirations of it. This is the event you want to be signing up for as far as Moontune is concerned. Like those big events there. It's going to be huge. It's going to be the biggest thing yet, right next to the squad league. But I mean, I'm excited for it, and just so much has been going on in NA with the league, with Moontune getting more involved, and so much is going to be happening more next year as well, and I'm just really hyped for it.